All right, Antoine, you were with us a couple of days ago. We asked about Boston's chances of winning a title. How could you forget? Nick said 0%. You said 20%. So Marcus Smart, a little more in line with you, Twan. Earlier in the week, he said Jayson Tatum could become one of the best players ever. Twan, is it crazy to think Tatum's already capable of being the best player on a championship team?
He could become the best player on their team, but if you look at the Celtics and how they played this year, right before, obviously everything happened, he was playing great basketball. He was on a scoring tear. But they got some other guys on their team. They got 3 guys that average 20 points a game, and Marcus Smart, comes off the bench at 13. So they share the ball really, really well on the Celtics. But his offensive package could be really, really good. He's polishing it up right now. A sneaky, good three-point shooter that we don't really look at him as shooting threes, but he's a very good three-point shooter. He's got all the offensive skills. So he can be, but one of the best players ever, I don't know if that's – we got at least some more sample size of that before I give him that. But I do believe he can be a great player. I do believe he can be a 10-time All-Star. He has all the potential of being great. But the Celtics have some good pieces around them, and Jaylen Brown is just as young as he is. And then obviously Kemba Walker's in the prime of his career. So they're going to continue to share the basketball, but he is a great scorer.
Here's the thing, Antoine. And you're my guy, and Enes Kanter is the Celtics center. He and I are newfound friends.
It's always a bad
and
sign.
I have immense respect for Jaylen Brown, immense respect, and I like Tatum a lot. If the Celtics are to make the finals, Jayson Tatum is going to have to be on the trajectory of not a great player, but one of the greatest players in the history of the league. Why do I say that? The key number here is 22. Not the 20% chance Antoine gave him, but 22. That's how many years Jayson Tatum's been on this earth. Here is the full list in the last 40 years of guys, I'll give him an extra year, 23 and under to be the best player on a finalist. Not even championship team, finalist. Kevin Durant did it at 23 in 2012. LeBron James did it at 22, a little ahead of everybody else, of course, in 2007. Tim Duncan did it at 23 in 99. Shaq did it at 23 in 95. Akeem did it at 23 in 86. That's it. Guys who are 23 or younger have been the best player on a finalist. People say, what about Magic? Magic was 20 when he won Finals MVP, but Kareem was league MVP that year. Magic wasn't the best player on that team. I just listed the 17th, 1st, 7th, 13th, and 12th greatest players ever. That is what KD, LeBron, Duncan, Shaq, and Akeem are. So, hey, I'll be the first to admit I was wrong if Tatum can join that list. But Wilds, unless we are saying forget superstar, forget best young player in the league, Jayson Tatum is on a trajectory to be one of the 20 greatest players we've ever seen, and the Celtics ain't making the finals this year. That's just what 40 years of NBA history tells me, Kevin.
First of all, there's nothing more that I like when you have to go through your own calculus of like, and the 17th best player. The fact that that's always available is just wonderful. But look, Antoine, everybody in the East, the contenders have one reason to win the championship. The Bucks have historic point differential. Philadelphia, they're 29-2 at home. The Raptors are the defending champs. The Heat, the Jimmy factor. It's less statistically proven, but I'm going to dig into it. The Jimmy factor just put overall. The Celtics are the only team in the league that, like you said, who have 3 guys averaging over 20. The only team in the league. So look, the idea that we have to be like, hey, this has got to be like Destiny's Child. There needs to be one star. We don't. It can just be very similar to the, drum roll please, the old Big Three Celtics, not Larry Bird and those guys. But in the playoffs, Garnett averaged 20, Paul averaged 20, and Ray averaged 15. Now, the question for you, Antoine, is, we said earlier when you're talking about the Raptors, they don't know at the end of the game who the ball should go to. I think that ball goes to Kemba. Do you think that there's any chance that the Celtics are actually too balanced and that could be a negative for them?
It remains to be seen. That's going to be on Brad Stevenson and who he trusts to have the ball late. It looked like before we had this break, that it was Jayson Tatum. He obviously, we know Kemba was hurt, and he's supposed to be 100% now. I see Kemba still trying to be the guy taking the shot late in games. I think right now people are putting Jayson Tatum in that category because the East is wide open. I mean, obviously Milwaukee, Giannis has been unbelievable. He'll be up for MVP, obviously, again. But besides that, Philly still, Embiid is not, hit his full potential. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's trying to get this young Miami team going. The Raptors don't necessarily, to me, have a go-to guy. They do it by committee. I think when you look at the Celtics, they do it by committee, but people saw that last couple of weeks of Jayson Tatum on that scoring tear, and people now starting to think that he can be one of those elite guys. But he's not there yet. They have a great balanced attack offense in Boston.
Nick, I want to just ask you a quick question, real quick. I was just going to say, and probably to your point as well, like, you know who does believe in Jayson Tatum? Obviously, Danny Ainge and the Boston Celtics. They could have had Anthony Davis, but Danny Ainge said, I'm not getting rid of Jaylen Brown. I'm not getting rid of Jayson Tatum. Those are my core guys. I mean, the Celtics seem all in on maybe Tatum or Brown, but probably Tatum being their guy for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and that's one of Danny Ainge's many missteps. If you could have had it, you could have had Kawhi. If you'd have gotten rid of Jaylen Brown, and maybe you're the defending champs. And if you could have had Anthony Davis, and you don't want to get rid of listen, Jayson Tatum. People think I hate Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum is a really good player, but the narrative on him has so far outpaced the reality. Antoine's right. He had an amazing February. 31 points per game, 48% from threes on tough threes. Look at those threes. Those are tough threes. But February is not the season. Here is Jayson Tatum on the season. He's averaging 23.5 points per game. For some context, it's not quite as many points per game as notorious huge scorer Pascal Siakam is averaging, but it is more than DeMar DeRozan. He's shooting 44.8% from the field. Listen, it's just behind notoriously efficient player Zach LaVine, but it is ahead of Danilo Gallinari. He's shooting 39.8% from three. Now, that's not quite as good as Luke Kennard, but it is better than Jaren Jackson Jr. His player efficiency rating is 20.4. Now, it's not quite as good as Domantas Sabonis, but it is ahead of De'Aaron Fox. Like, that's what he's been this year. Folks will say, oh, my God, Nick, you're forgetting the playoff runs. What? The fact that he dunked over LeBron once in a series where he averaged 18, 4, and 2? I think other people are forgetting, Antoine, the playoff series against Milwaukee when he gave you a resounding 12 points per game on 36% from the field. That's the last time we saw him in the playoffs. So if he's about to take a supersonic leap, Antoine, I'm excited to see it. But we don't have any evidence of it aside from 12 games in February. And so that's what I will need to see in order to believe the Celtics can make the finals, much less win a championship.
I think, Nick, you're obviously right because the February got everybody excited. It got me excited. We saw an offensive package that we didn't think he had. He was really, really good. So I think everybody's holding their head on that he can be the next guy, the next great Celtic. And he has the potential to be that. So I think as the season goes along, that we continue to see him in the playoffs. And if he's able to show up big come Eastern Conference Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks, which I believe those two teams will meet up, we'll see if he can get over that hump. And then obviously you can have LeBron James waiting on you in the finals. So it remains to be seen, but he's headed in the right direction.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.